Can I win this local 5K race? After looking at the results from last year, I didn't expect this race to be very competitive. Something that I did expect, however, was a few people starting off super fast. As you can see at this point, there are 4 guys ahead of me. We're going to be paying close attention to the 2 up front later in the race. About 400 meters in, these guys have a pretty big gap on me, and I start to get a little bit concerned that they might not slow down. But not too much later, I end up passing the first one and get into 3rd place. Right up here, there are some volunteers that I had talked to before the race, and I told them I was going to win, so they're not very happy about me not being in 1st place.
I'll catch him, they're going to die.
Knowing that we were only about 1K into the race, I knew that I would have plenty of time to catch the guys in front of me. Coming up to 1 mile into the race, I had closed the gap a little bit on this first guy in front of me, but the guy in 1st place was still pretty far ahead, and I end up splitting a 5:42 for my 1st mile. Here at 1.3 miles, I'm starting to get really close to this guy, and I know I'm going to pass him soon. Right here, I put in a little bit of a surge, and I end up passing him. And then there was one. About halfway through the race, this guy had about a 20 to 30 meter gap on me, but I knew that if I could just not let him get any further away from me, I would be able to catch him in the last kilometer. Going into this race, I had 2 main goals. The first was to win, and the second was to run a PR. With the 2nd mile at 5:49, I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to run a PR, so my goal at this point became to just win the race. Knowing that there was less than a mile left and seeing that I had slowed down even more, I knew that I had to put in a surge at this point. It felt weird putting in the surge here because it felt like my effort had increased a lot, but my pace was not responding. Eventually, my pace did start to increase. And when it did, I realized I was going way faster than I thought. At this point, I was going so much faster than I thought, and I wasn't sure if this pace would be sustainable for the rest of the race. As I come past this guy and into 1st place, I knew that I had pretty much secured the win. But how fast will my final time be? Can I close ridiculously fast to break my PR of 17:33? With about 400 meters to go, this is where I would typically start my kick, but knowing I had already secured the win and I was probably not going to PR, I didn't really start kicking. I ended up splitting a 3rd mile of 5:36. Sprinting through the finish line, what will my final time be? And I ended up winning the race in a time of 17:42.